Hello. Yes, it's 2 minutes early. It's also 2 minutes oily. Don't know why. How is everybody? It is Monday again. I have like 5 things to talk about tonight, and I don't know how I'm going to talk about 4 of them. But here we are, and I see people are gathered in the parking lot hanging out. Some Slayer. You really can't have horror without Slayer, and you can't have Slayer without horror. So we're going to get that peanut butter into your chocolate. Going to get it all up in there. Yeah, hello, and I haven't even had my Coca-Cola yet, so we're going to open that up, and we're going to talk to who's in the garage, who's in the parking lot tailgating, putting up them Italian sausages and playing the Frisbee, and maybe some hacky sack, throwing the football around. Hello, Hans. Hello, Mike. Hello, Phil. Hello, Russell. Hello, Kevin, Patty, Mark, and Alexia. Good to see you, everyone. Happy to have you along for the giggles and the shits. So we're going to pour this. And, last week I had a Coca-Cola. So I think I'm going to do it again this week. But there was something missing with the Coca-Cola last week. That I decided it ain't gonna be missing tonight. Look at this. How much do you think I could go? How long do you think I could go if I drank all of that in my one live stream? Should I make a live stream where I have to finish the whole bottle during the live stream and stay on as long as it takes to finish the bottle? I mean, yeah, I think people would want to see that. Hello, Coswheel. Hello, Dave. We don't need to see that. Well, here we go. Rum and Coke. I wanted a spiced rum. Producer Jill assured me we had it. I looked. Beef Daddy did not find, so it's going to be just this straight up rum and Coke. Not poured by any sort of certified mixologist. Except Beef Daddy, I did get a mixologist degree. I paid $500 and learned how to mix drinks. It was colored water that you put together in a glass, and you crack jokes the whole time. I never served a drink to the public, so I was never responsible for your bad behavior. Oh, yeah, the rum's just on top. That was just a straight up sip of rum. Anyway, Ka is a wheel. Yes, it is. That name is it speaks to me because it is a wheel. And it's a wheel I get crushed under often. I'm under a wheel a lot. I ate calzone giraffe. Okay, so Pizza Giraffe's here. Good to see you. And I would think Pizza Giraffe would have a baby, and the baby would be a calzone. That's a baby pizza is a calzone. Is my guess. So, good evening, Eye of Manos. Hello, Ron. I'm going to be talking about, I'm glad you're here. I'm going to be talking about the store tonight. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Tim from It's Terrific did a review of the store. I put it on to watch it because I'm a fan of It's Terrific, no doubt. And I watched a lot of it, but then he got to a point where he's like, well, I don't want to say any more. Well, you know what? I'm going to do spoilers. And so I'm like, all right, well, I didn't finish it. I'm right here. This is me. I have less than 100 pages to go. Is this impolite and improper to have my ribbon hanging like that? Hanging out? So I'll show you the top part. That's all I have left. And I'm going to get through it because I got in sort of a log jam here. Iowa Club. And then... oh, you got ads? Oh, I'm sorry. What? Did the feed go down? I see feed. Hans sees feed. Hello, Mitch. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. And then once the ad ends, Jeff is frozen. YouTube is dumb. I'm dumb. I don't know. Oh, man. You're fine. We hear you. Well, then that's not good for you. But anyway, I was reading this, and then I got Obviously, the next book on deck is No One Is Safe, and I'm itching to get to this. And then in the meantime, I got this in the mail, and I'm like, I just can't do it. I can't keep what? I'm glitching. Oh my god. I think it's this OBS, seriously. I might have to just scrap OBS. No feed. Yeah, I'm looking at the kilobytes per second. I'm in the green again. I can see at the bottom of the screen, I'm getting these readings. Ads interrupt the beginning of the broadcast more often than not. It just took me out of YouTube. It's back. Man, dudettes, I'm sorry. I think just YouTube can't handle this. If you can't handle me at my best, you don't deserve me at my worst. I got it backwards on purpose. That was intentional. It wasn't rum. Glitch in the Jeff tricks. I'm better now. I hope. All right. Okay, we're going to try this again. So I got No One Is Safe, and I'm starting to worry about this black box of doom. And I'm like, I can't wait to read those books. And so I'm sitting there reading the store, and I keep looking over at Black Box of Doom and No One Is Safe. I'm like, I got better things to do. And it was just distracting. So I started reading Black Box of Doom, and I was getting into No One Is Safe. And then I'm like looking back at the store. So I just decided I'm going to finish the store. I'm going to run through it. I'm going to get it done. And I'm going to get to the book club meeting. I think I'm going to have it May 30th. And we're just going to do this. We're going to have it out, and then I'm going to be done with the store. And I have things to say about it. Like, I know I've been bashing it on my Patreon. If you've been walking that journey with me, I've been bashing it, but there are things about it that I can talk about, and in addition to what I've already said. So there's stuff I can do. Anyway, I'm going to get through it, and then I'm going to jump right back into, I'm starting to worry about this Black Box of Doom. And then No One Is Safe as well. So I'm reading Black Box of Doom because I was given it as an arc from the author himself. And I have time on No One Is Safe for the book club. So I'm trying to stack them to get these. And then there's a Tyler Jones book I'm going to read. So there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that I'm totally looking forward to, which made the store harder. But I'm telling you, I'm breezing through it because I'm at the end now. No one's going to convince me it's a book worth my time, but I'm going to have point-by-point eviscerations of this book. Check out Tim's review. I don't know if you've seen it. I keep getting kicked out of the live feed. I'm sorry, Patty. Oh, Black Box sounds awesome. It is. Can't wait to read stuff you want but are still wasting your time on something you hate. I'm obligated. Like I have to at least, I made a commitment, and I just feel like quitting on things is not who I am, right? So I don't want to quit on this. I want to keep it going and sort of live up to my obligation. And so, yes, I feel obligated. That's not the best spot to be in for a book, but I'm going to do it. I know of another secret book you're going to be reading soon, too. I know! Oh, I know. It's just too many great books, too many great authors. And so, yes, this is my price. This is my burden to read the store. But you should see, I don't know if Tim's going to show up tonight. Curious, is the book club exclusively horror? No, it won't be. It doesn't have to be. The first two books, well, the store is like empty, nothing bullshit. It's plastic. It's empty and plastic. It's not good horror. It's actually really detached from any sort of real emotion. So you can't have horror. You can't have horror without emotion. You need emotion. You can't, like somebody just posted on the Books of Horror group a snippet of a clip a snippet of a book or a page of a book, and they're like, I can't even think, like this book is so awful. And I read it, and it was like brutality just described. And I'm like, I wanted to rewrite that passage to show how I think it would be if it was really horror. It was graphic and gruesome, but there was no emotional investment. And to be fair, I'm just reading a paragraph in a book. I don't even know what the title of the book was. So it's not fair to judge the whole book just on one paragraph. But you have to have some emotional connection to the scene at least. I did not quit Dune. I did not. I paused Dune. I paused Dune, and Mike, well, he just said it, so it's not secret anymore. Wait, what? Oh, well, you didn't have to say that was a secret book. You see what I'm saying? Nobody could have known who the author was. I thought you were talking about another secret book. So, like, you know, there's two authors that are phenomenal, and they have secret books. I did not spoil a book reveal. Whoa, speaking of giveaways, I can't believe it's been already a year since I won. Congratulations on your anniversary of the giveaway. Oh, was it The Groomer by Jonathan? I don't break it up to John Athan. Well, that was a passage that was pretty, I mean, it was awful. The worst part of that, the most emotional part of that was the word toddler. And using that loaded word brings up, you know, if you're any sort of human with a heart, toddlers should inspire protection and nurturing in any human. Like the generic toddler should elicit feelings of tenderness, kindness, and compassion and that sort of thing. Not what was described in that scene. But it was written so dispassionately as to be nothing that sunk into me. And I have heard parts of that book that were so awful that I won't even bother reading it. So, yes, we're going to get into the Levidian process very soon. We could do that next. Let me see. I will. Jeff, how extreme was your cognitive dissonance when your love for Levidian met Brian's announcement last week? See, and you know the funny thing is, I kept writing like in any posts or talking about it, like I've gotten private messages about that, and I'm like, I so hope this is a banger for Brian James Freeman. I hope it sells out instantly, if not sooner, and I hope it goes on to great success. I hope the book we're talking about, is it secret? Is it still secret? I don't know if it's secret, but I mean, can you guys give me a notion if it's secret? I feel like I need guidance on whether or not. I don't think it's secret. Okay, Mitch said he doesn't think it's secret. It's Them by Billy Chismar. I refuse to call him W.H. Chismar. Billy Chismar wrote Them, and Levidian's publishing it. And some of the things I noticed immediately were it's an $85 price point. The slipcase is being sold separately, and it's a 600 copy print run, which, if you know, all the other Levidian titles except for King and Hill are 750 print runs, and the King and Hill books are like in the 1750 or whatever Revival was. I don't remember. The poor guys who had to sign all those signature sheets. My God. But anyway, so it's 600 copy print run. The slipcase is going to be sold separately. So you buy the book now, and then you can get the slipcase later at an additional charge. And the print run's only 600. So all these things combine to show, like, if you looked at it objectively, you'd be like, well, is it because Brian James Freeman doesn't have the confidence in the title? Which is fair. It's a debut novel, right? Any author with a debut novel is going to be a little bit of caution on the on the part of the publisher, they're going to be like, well, if I'm paying to put this book out there, it better sell. And this person's an unknown commodity. I don't care how lovingly his dad cups King's wedding tackle. I don't care about that. Is his writing going to sell the book? And Brian James Freeman seems to believe it will, and good, and maybe he's right. Maybe I read an excerpt and it was awful, but maybe that was a first draft and they edited it and they made it something that's readable. I don't know. So my love for Levidian remains unchanged, even though he did this to us and he's got more of Bentley Little on deck. I still love Brian James Freeman. I mean, he can do he did a couple of missteps, but that's opinion. My opinion isn't all infallible. Like, people can actually like Bentley Little, and I've seen people defend the store, which is just a load of garbage. But that's fine, and it's like opinion. It's but I could think those are missteps, but they're not, and he's still impeccable. Brian James Freeman is still untouched, even though he worked for Richard Chizmar, even though he's still close to Richard Chizmar, and you probably don't want to be bashing Richard Chizmar around him. Whatever. I would call him out if I thought it, but I think the guy's got a great heart. He's a golden heart, that guy. And so my love for Levidian is undimmed. In that 5-star constellation, those stars are all burning very bright. So, and anyway, so it was tough. It was tough to see that. It's secret. Wait, now, Andrew, you're saying it's secret. It's only a pre-announcement. I mean, I'm not sharing the link. So the thing is, you can't buy it. Oh, man. I hope to God it wasn't a secret. But really, it's just us here. Like, by the time people catch up and watch the rewatch, it'll be long announced. And the art looks awesome. The art looks amazing. But since that release, Brian James Freeman came out with an announcement saying that this is his practice going forward. He's lowering the print runs to 600. He's offering the slipcases optional, which kind of sucks for shipping charges. You're going to have to pay double shipping, right? Unless he works out a system where if you buy both, he'll hold the book until that slipcase is made, and then you'll get both in one box, which I think would be the way to go. Brian, if you're mad at me right now for talking about them, I apologize. But if you are listening to this, then I think that would be the way to go, because paying double for double shipping is going to hurt sales of the slipcase for those fence sitters. Anyway, so he announced that this is not an indictment or a indication of his faith in Billy Chizmar's book, only a standard practice moving forward. So if that's the case, I do kind of worry if his numbers aren't good, like if he's not selling as well as he should be, and he has to lower print runs, because economies of scale, I don't know where they kick in. If 600 to 750 make a big difference, but usually if you print more, the per unit cost on your end is lower. You don't have to pay as much per book, even though you're selling them at the same price to everybody. So you make more money if you sell all the books. But if you have a warehouse full of unsold thems, then yes, you're running into issues. I just can't see him moving to 600 print run. And he said that it would not be in future Joe Hill titles. Future Joe Hill titles will still remain whatever they were, 1250. I don't remember. So I think he can do whatever he wants with his business, and I know a few people are just going to skip them. I don't know. Based on what he sent today, I think he's going to use that process for future releases. Yes, yeah, for sure. Still secret till tomorrow. Well, you know what? Still secret till tomorrow. It's almost tomorrow. We're gonna let it out there. So anybody who didn't know about it, be on the lookout for Levidian. If this is a title you want to get to spite me, like, oh, Jeff doesn't want me to buy it, I'm gonna buy it anyway. And I do want you to buy it. So I hope that doesn't hurt the sales. And you're like, oh, you'd love it if I bought it. Wouldn't you? So whatever motivates you to buy it and enjoy it. But I want you to enjoy it. And I just don't know how you could enjoy it. Are you threatening me with the dog? I'm being threatened with our puppy.
I can.
Yeah, I don't know about... Yeah. Our dog's name is Poe. You might have known about that. So I'll finish the store by the 30th. I don't want to discuss the book without finishing it. Then I can compare it with the other one I read from him. Okay, well, show up to the book club and bring your best opinion. Really, like I liked Tim's review from It's Terrific. I liked seeing that opinion. I like opposing opinions. I liked that idea that it's a satire and you should read it as such. I just think that's a load. I don't think it was a satire. But I would love to hear people who like it defend it. Or not defend it. It's not like you're on trial. But convince me or try to or tell me what you liked about it. And then I could say, oh, okay, well, I'm glad for you. I'm happy you liked it for you. I didn't see a link to the slipcase. I like that he's given an option. I just want all mine to match with the slipcase. I know. Good evening, Claire Kelly. Good evening. Peter's here, too. What do we got? Hey, It's Terrific is here. I was just talking about you. Brian doesn't have the room to keep all them done books waiting for a slipcase. I know. But if he could work on a system that way, that would be ideal. That would be the best way to go, I think. Levidian really makes some beautiful books. Amen. Not all the titles are for me. Kind of like Suntup, but that's okay because it saves me money. Yeah, you'll go broke otherwise. Yeah, like I'm not Michael Corita or Scott Carson fan. I mean, I read Those Who Wish Me Dead. That was a fun book. That was a really good book. Not my thing. It's more of a thriller. And that's great, you know, and I think if there's a fan base that supports that, awesome. And I know Dog Days or Dog Star with Joseph Heller book was a big deal. I think that's a well-respected title in some regards, and a lot of people liked it. Great. Not for me. Philip Fracassi, Robert McCammon, Sarah Pinborough, I'm there for them all day. And I love what Levidian does for those authors. I haven't seen the Sarah Pinborough yet. I don't even really know if it's a Sarah Pinborough title, but it has to be. It has to be. She signed The Last House on Needless Street. He's teasing a book by a twisty thriller author. And holy shit, Sarah Pinborough is a twisty thriller author and amazing author. Love her stuff. So happy that her limited edition house is Levidian, at least for a title, and I'm certain of it, although I have no inside information. So that, yes, I love what he does. Peter's here. Good to see you. And Stephen Wayne Nelson Jr. is here. I didn't see greetings and salutations. Well, there should be a lot of open space in the CD warehouse. Perhaps Chiz can house some, Levidian LP books. That would be good. That would be good of Daddy Chiz to say, hey, you did my son a favor. I'm going to return a kindness upon you. Here's the warehouse wherefore you can store these Billy Chiz books, huh? Wherefore you can place them until as such time it is necessary to send them to the purchasers. I'd like to see Daddy Chiz do that. Because I didn't see Daddy Chiz putting his neck out there for his son, huh? Think about that. I just thought of that. Why isn't CD publishing them? I'm pissed now. Why isn't Daddy Chiz doing that? Maybe because he can't get a goddamn limited edition out? And he's like, well, I want my son to get the limo ride. I don't want him riding in a throw-up Uber that doesn't even go down the block. I want him to get that first-class ride, and so I can't do it. I can't do my son justice. It's going to have to be Brian James Freeman. I just thought of, why isn't it CD? Why isn't CD on that spine? Yes. Brian James Freeman latest Patreon announcement explains all this. Yes. And I suggest you subscribe to Brian James Freeman's Patreon. That way I won't inadvertently spill any secrets. It's so, I mean, seriously, it is so hard. Like, if I get a private DM from somebody, I can always assume that's confidential. Don't say anything to anybody. But when I get a newsletter email, I think anybody who subscribes to the newsletter gets this. They're, the pre-order link isn't going to get disseminated because you're not going to share that with anybody to buy. But people can, oh my God, is it coming out? Like, and they could be aware, and then they could be on top of it. So I don't think it's hard to separate that. I will do better. I asked Brian James Freeman last time about some other titles, which I'm not even going to mention. I'm not even going to mention the titles because I don't think he announced them. Not them, the book, but I don't think he announced these other titles. If you got not yesterday's newsletter, but a week ago, that newsletter, I redacted the author's name and what's coming from this author because Brian James Freeman told me, no, this isn't for public release yet. So I kept it under wraps, or I didn't reveal it. So I should just, you know what? This show, though, is going to be very short if I can't tell you anything. And if he's going to reveal it tomorrow, then this is a little VIP lounge, and you got a little look. You got a little heads up. You can look tomorrow then, if that's the announcement for the public, for the W.H. Chismar book, Them. And the art looks fantastic. That's the best thing I could say. And it'll have Levidian's sensibilities. So, and design aesthetic. He did mention the whole market is soft. Yeah, it is. And it's crazy. I mean, inflation, everything is tight. Tightening and tighter. So I really don't... I don't blame him for being more conservative with a debut author and a debut novel. The author who wrote Mr. Purple and Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, which was not about a ride. Words mean something, Billy. Words mean something. Cost me $99 and they're giving $300 of credit. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? All right. Well, so I can't repeat what you just said, Stephen Wayne Allison Jr. Yeah. I can't repeat what you wrote, Stephen Wayne Allison Jr. You talked about the title that I wasn't going to talk about. So I can't do that. Are you saying you got a refund from CD? I'm considering canceling all of my stalled orders. Damn. Jeff, do you want to reveal Suntup while you're at it? I could. If physically it's possible. I do remember what the next release is. Very interesting release, the next one. Very interesting. I would... I totally respect it, and I can't wait to see what he did with it. what he did with the title and the production quality. I have a feeling it's going to be tremendous. It's going to be a very interesting release. Yes. Not a lightweight release at all. So I won't say any more about it. They gave $100 each quarter this year to use, and it doesn't expire. But I did cancel an order, and yes, I got a refund. Well, good. It's not SS. Sorry, honestly, you might have to wait a few years until an anniversary hits. Would you say, Mr. Weapons, good to see you. Hope the non-Corvette title is Swan Song. Oh, yeah, no. It's not. No, yeah. Centipede revealed much yesterday. Yes, I will talk about that. Yes. Crazy Centipede email yesterday. Yeah, I'm going to pull that up in a second. Let me make sure I got everybody. Hopefully the book doesn't hurt Levidian's bottom line. I know. I hope that as well for Brian. Yeah, a little surprised to see a Thomas Monteleone title coming from Jared. Yep. I read the Centipede newsletter yesterday. Kane intrigues me. What does that series compare to? Sadly, my Children of Dune from... I don't know what Kane compares to. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to gloss over that, Andrew. Sadly, my Children of Dune from Centipede has gone missing. Not sure whether it was never sent to someone else, or got lost in the mail. Jared's looking into it, but I'm very sad. I am sad for you, Peter. That's a hell of a thing. Oh, man. Wow. That's so bad. I bet he'll replace it. I guarantee it. Kane is a sword and sorcery in the vein of Howard's Conan, but Wagner is his own voice. Happy Monday, Jason. Good to see you, Jason. I'm glad you're here. Yeah. So the thing with Thomas Monteleone is Jared has things years in the making, and then they come to light, when they do. And like, what's he supposed to do? Is he going to pull punches? Let's do this screen share. Shall we? Let's get this up, man. Is that there? That's there. Okay. We're good. We're golden. So, schedule updates. So this is just insane. Let's go through it. Hellstone by Steven Spruill. I have no idea about this. This fine hardcover edition of a trade paperback from 91 is signed by the author David Ho and F. Paul Wilson, who's provided an excellent introduction. Not the usual introduction, an excellent one. So that's cool. You're getting an F. Paul Wilson sig, but I know nothing about this, and that's great. The Hell Candidate sounded interesting by Graham Masterton. And so that's coming. It's about $100. 85 to 95, then $100. Then Kane by Carl Edward Wagner. This is still in print and in printing and just started bindery. It'll take a few more months. It would get done a lot sooner if I didn't have to do a slipcase, and the price would be somewhat lower as well. Your thoughts? I don't know what you all think, but I think you should demand a goddamn slipcase. I don't know. Oh wait, what did Andrew say? What did I miss? Oh, that sounds awesome. Oh, thanks, Jason. Yeah. Wait, what am I missing? Oh, the sword, Kane. Yeah, sorry, I'm working through things. Elric series could be comparable to Kane. Okay. So why shouldn't Tom Monteleone be published? He had a moment years ago on a podcast, so what? He shouldn't write anymore? He shouldn't be published? Nonsense! That's funny. I'll talk about that because that led to a whole thing on Centipede Press collectors. I'll pull that up in a minute. It just gets an epic eye roll for me. It's just annoying to me. I hate cancel culture. I think most people, if something is done that's awful and you don't like it, they just move along. They don't announce it. They don't take out a billboard and say, this guy's a monster. They just don't do it. Like, oh yeah. Like, for example, Monte Leon said some awful, horrible, ugly things in a podcast. And he's supposed to be a leader in the horror community. And that's not how leaders act. It's poor. It's poor taste. But I'm not a Thomas Monte Leon fan. I've never read anything he's written. So I didn't care. I didn't have any horse in the race. But knowing that the guy is just that sort of ugly, I'll skip it. I'm not going to go to his house and burn it down. I'm not going to hope he starves to death. I don't care. Like, there are ugly thoughts and ugly people who do ugly things. I mean, not physically. You know what I'm saying. And it's not up to us to vilify these people and make sure they never eat again. Like, let's all just take your righteousness and pound it up your ass. But make your decision for yourself. Like, I'm not buying John Wayne Gacy art like Stephen King. That guy murdered people. And he was still selling art to Stephen King, right? Stephen King bought one of his clown paintings. What? Thomas Monte Leon said, and then, John Wayne Gacy was executed for murdering all those men, boys, and burying them under his house in Chicagoland. So, anyway, Jared has these things going a long time, and it's going to be... Timing is like, he can't control how any of these stories play out. What's he supposed to do? Burn the book, lose all the money, and take a hit on it for some moral high ground? No, I don't. It shouldn't hurt. Like, Cemetery Dance pulled Thomas Monte Leon's article out of the paper because that was easy to do. Like, they weren't. It's not like they scrapped the whole magazine. They just pulled it out of the magazine and moved on, and nobody cared because Cemetery Dance is a dumpster fire in their own right. But all this righteous indignation is just, it's exhausting, right? So anyway, other titles. Kane, The Horrible and Others by Guy Manspants. I'm sorry. Irene in Hell. That looked interesting to me. That's $95. Here it is. Night Train by Thomas Monte Leon. Boo! Right? I mean... Probably August, a very handsome book with a terrific dust jacket. I mean, this had its acclaim in its day. Was he so bad that we have to torch his whole catalog and never read him? No. He said some awful things, and like, knowing that, I just wouldn't want to do business with the guy. But like, let's relax a little bit. Like, what he did was bad, but not like ostracize, excommunicate, and watch him starve to death bad. So let's see what you all are saying. Hey, what's up, Johnny? Good to see you. I'm sure Jared will make it right if it's gone missing, but making it right in this case probably means a PC copy or different number. Peter, don't think that way. He will probably, I don't know. I can't, I don't think that way. I think he'll fix it. Or it'll show up. Maybe it just, the art on that huge Frankenstein is going to be awesome. Yeah, the the Wrightson one. Where are we at? Oh, well, this. Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. The massive oversized book with art by Salvador Dali and an introduction by Jan somebody. Should be done by July or August, and that is going to be almost $300. Oh, I would love to get that one. That's one on this list that I want. That one, and then, yes, Neuromancer by William Gibson. He's doing all three books. Neuromancer, Count Zero, Mona Lisa Overdrive, and one slipcase for all three. That is cool. Mid to late 2025. That is awesome. I would love to get that one as well. So if I had a list here, yes, it would definitely be. I'm vaguely interested in Irene in Hell. Bad Brains too. I have the Cipher, and I would like to get Bad Brains too, but I probably won't. Although, who knows what my life will be like by September, October. Bind freeze over. Yay. Maybe not. But Alice in Wonderland for sure. I would love to get that. And then Neuromancer and, oh my God, 4 more Philip K. Dick. I didn't see this before. Philip K. Dick, the next 4 Philip K. Dick books, Eye in the Sky, The Man Who Japed, Solar Lottery, and The World Jones Made are all in galley stages. Oh. But you see, me not knowing there's another 4 Philip K. Dick books by Centipede that I'll never be able to afford, I would pass on this because I'll never be able to get them all. Ugh. So he's doing more Cornell Woolrich. Pamela Sargent, our next author in the Masters of Science Fiction, is waiting for cover art by Bob Eggleton. Bob's awesome. And then Bernie Wrightson and Frankenstein. $400 at the high end. The Mary Shelley Frankenstein with illustrations by Bernie Wrightson is going to be massive. Oh, that's another one I'd want. Late October. And look how certain he is. Late October. Oh, man. Oh. Then Library of Weird Fiction Review. And then Thomas Ligotti books, Brian McNaughton, Incubus, Heretics of Dune. Oh, man. Jared's murdering us. A lot of great stuff. A lot of stuff I would pass over, but just so much great stuff, man. Don't worry, Jeff. You can move on from my messages. I'm sorry. I know I get hung up on this stuff. I do. He might be able to fix a number, but it may take a while and involve rebinding. I know. I don't like Salvador Dali's paintings. I do not think he is that good, to be honest. Surrealism was a short chapter in the history of art, and Dali played his role in the public eye. But his paintings are meta me. Well, that's the thing. Shadow of the Torturer is there also. Yes. Magritte. For surrealist, I prefer Magritte. He actually referred to a winner of an award by her race and size, then made really base judgments about her. Right. And again, a leader in the horror community, okay, I don't know if you guys have ever had management positions. If you work for a company and you're entry level, you have a certain set of standards you operate by. Nobody expects you to comport yourself in leadership fashion. But as you ascend, you have to edit you have to be a little more mindful of the things you say and how you treat people. And Thomas Monteleone was at that level. He could have been a good voice to usher in new writers, new readers. He could have been a mentor or some sort of guiding force. Instead, he gets base and he's super unprofessional and just basically ugly, right? It's just, so yeah, that's what he did. And anyway, wait for Neuromancer Trilogy or pick up the signed Easton Press Neuromancer now. Wait. You can get the signed Neuromancer from Easton Press. That's been around for a long time. They're giving a discount on it. You can buy it for $67. Wait, it's a $67 discount. You can get a signed Neuromancer from Easton Press for $45 or whatever it is. And you get a signature. It's leather binding, gold foil all over it. They're nicely built, well-constructed books. And it's a great way to get a signature. And they come with like a certificate of authenticity. I think that's also signed by the author. And it's kind of a cool thing, but they're very formulaic and nice quality, but like you're not experiencing anything brand new with a new. I don't think they even have art. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hans, but I don't think they have art. Centipede all day for sure. Yes, I'm no social justice warrior, but he just came across as with severely antiquated ideas. Yeah. I mean, And it's like somebody like that, you don't want to support because it's like, it's just, and you have to listen to the podcast. I forgot the podcast. Some knuckleheads. And the way he's yucking it up, it's like, dude, save that for beers in the garage with your buddies. Don't do it into a podcast microphone. And you see what you've reaped. And you know, yes, none of it's illegal and none of it is, you know, it was hurtful to that individual, an ugly look for him. But he ain't going to jail for it. I may actually be selling a Centipede a CP soon. I just finished reading The Parasite and Who Ate Its Mother, right? Is that it? Or just The Parasite, and was fairly meh on it. Not a book I'm likely to reread, so I should probably not keep an expensive edition, even a Centipede. Yeah, I agree. With these big time editions, you wanna move them along to somebody who can love them. Ramsey Campbell, yes sir, that's the one. The Parasite. Oh, I'm thinking of The Parasite Who Ate His Mother, because it's the doll who ate its mother and the parasite. Right. That's funny. The Parasite Who Ate Its Mother. Cousin Eddie beat me to the only management opportunity I had for. That goddamn Cousin Eddie. Does he still have the Widow's Peak? I'm thinking of Eddie Munster. He had a Widow's Peak. Patrick Henry. What was it? Not Patrick Henry. I'm just getting it all wrong tonight, and we're gonna laugh about it tomorrow. Yeah, that's my tagline. The Jeff word. Getting it wrong tonight, but we'll laugh about it tomorrow. Agree with you. Oh, number one's chiming in, Jill. Number one agrees with Hans about the dolly art. Overrated and sometimes disturbing. So the case is closed. Nobody buy that Alice in Wonderland with the dolly art. Number one and Hans don't like it. Oh, nice book, Jason. Have you read it? Did you enjoy it? Butch Patrick. Yeah, not Patrick Henry. Cousin Eddie from Christmas Vacation. Shitter's Full. Is that the guy? Cousin Eddie? Jason a long time ago, but I'm due for a reread. It sounds like Jason and Stephen Dwayne Elson Jr. are going to enter into a sale. That's when one book collector loves a book so much and he meets another book collector, and together they love that book. Exchange for money. It happens sometimes. SST's How to Sell a Haunted House has a cool sig page. All those Grady Hendrix signature pages are awesome. That has the Eli John art, so I don't know how that signature page looks compared to the Raiko Murakami signature pages. But I saw that SST was shipping those, and it is out in the wild along with Donut Legion. Super jealous of anybody who's getting those. I passed on both of them. I passed on How to Sell a Haunted House because it's starting to get really ridiculous to me that I have all these beautiful collectible editions of Grady Hendrix titles and I've not read him. And you know, it's hard to justify spending money on an author I've never read. So I pulled the punch, but Donut Legion is the one that hurts. Let's compare Dolly to John Athan. They both did stuff for pure shock value. Dolly has some great visual ideas. I loved his work on Hitchcock's film Spellbound. Okay. But all art's subjective. I'm getting the Dolly book for my friend's wedding gift. You are. I'm going to get married, Stephen. Jill and I are renewing our vows, so maybe you get that for us as a wedding gift. I sold my Hendrix books. Didn't care for him. Oh, I got to give him a try, though. I definitely will. I sold my Hendrix books. Didn't care for... Oh, yeah. Well, I just read it. Oh, my God. See, this will get into be Biden's like. If you don't have the CP and would like it, I'll send it your way at whatever I paid, which I would have to look up. Let me know if you are interested. I can facilitate that deal, Jason. Stephen Dwayne Allison Jr., you can hit me up if you commit to it here, and I'll facilitate that move if that's what's going to happen. I'd be happy to be the middleman. I am drinking rum and Coke. Bacardi, which Cardi B was named after Bacardi. It's just, so her sister was Hennessy. Okay? So she was Cardi B for Bacardi. So I think it's like maybe a form of dyslexia. I don't know. But Cardi B. Cheers, Cardi B. If it makes you feel any better, Jeff, nothing makes me feel better except Bacardi. I didn't care for the Donut Legion, and I'm a big Lansdale fan. I know, but I have all the other number 3s, so... Donut's Dust Jacket close-up is fantastic. Damn. Sorry you passed. I know. I'm sorry I passed. I'm going to pass away. Well, argue, no, not all art is subjective. No, it is subjective. Some is simply bad or good, and there are people who can discern this. With an education in art, you're losing me, Hans. Hans, you're losing me. You need to be educated to know what you like? I don't know. I don't know about that. There's no amount of education you could give me to tell me the store is worth a shit. And if you have to be educated to like something, I think something's off. And it's okay because you can not like it. It's okay. Or like it. That's okay. Some people liked G.G. Allen back in the day, and he would fling his feces at people on stage. People liked it. Art is subjective. That's an objective truth. No, Jeff, not what you like, what is good and what is not. Again, I won't get you. I won't agree to that. You mixing like with good. No, well, who's the arbiter of good? So here's the thing. You're going to get somebody who can't even do the art, be the art critic or the art teacher, and then they become a gatekeeper to tell people why something's not good. But if art doesn't move you viscerally, emotionally in the moment when you experience it, then it's not for you. And then if you don't connect with it, and then somebody comes along and says, oh, but you're just a slobbering Neanderthal. Well, you could just, kind of take that opinion, print it out, turn it sideways, and pound it up your ass. Because I don't like it. Or I do like it. And you shouldn't apologize. Like, Ron likes the store. Ron's opinion is no more valid than mine. No matter. But yes, I know. I do understand there are people who understand the aesthetics of art, who study it, who appreciate it. Maybe you can be educated to appreciate art, the skill or the vision behind it. But you can't tell me what's good or bad based on a degree on your wall. I'm sorry. That's just not how my brain works. All opinions are the oasts. Okay, take it easy, Hans. Jeff, Hans is coming from a place of study. You're coming from a place of personal taste. All right, Hans. Well, good night. If you did leave, you didn't have to. This is a discussion. We're adults. I ordered the cheapest version, whatever that was called. I'm a bit bummed that I won't have the rights to the series with that, but could justify paying double for the next tier. I don't know what you guys were talking about. I won a grant in painting. I know what I'm talking about. I studied fine. Well, Jill studied fine art in college as well. And that's not, whatever. I don't know what you're talking about, Jason. The weird book. Okay. All right. Great minds think alike. Thing alike. Everyone's playing chess and I'm playing checkers. I'm actually still trying to figure out how to play Connect 4. Is this the first person to connect for the loser. Yes, apparently. I think what you do is when somebody's about to connect four, you just pull that little tray out at the bottom. Then you just like, I'm sorry, that thing's loose on the bottom. And let's just start over till I win. That's how the game is played. Is Hans back yet? I think we can send a message to Hans. We can send I would like to know where Hans went to school. That's a good question. Producer Jill said, "Hey, where did he go? To school, that is. Like, where did he win this grant for painting?" And here's the thing. I like Hans's art. I've seen Hans's art. He's a good artist. And that's good. But again, I think whatever. Even if you don't love the art, you still getting an amazing book for Alice in Wonderland. And it's Centipede Press, not Cemetery Dance. So what was the Centipede group dust up? I'm kind of guessing it'll make me glad I don't do Facebook. Okay, so here we go. That's a good, thank you for saving me from reading. Well, I'm going to read again. So Sean Griffith posted on Centipede Press Collectors Group because somebody talked. He's like, a warning. If you are a person who prefers to keep their hobbies separate from life as sacrosanct, non-political refuges, I advise you to skip the post below. I only write this because I know that the apolitical population commonly has a vocal contingent in communities built around books. Here's the second warning. If you're not learned enough to read the words he did put earlier, if you're angry at the warning and still reading, please don't take the time to explain this view to me or advocate for an apolitical approach to reading. While I don't think the views I'm presenting are controversial, I am always surprised that the horror, weird fiction, and science fiction communities, often refuges, there's that word again, for oppressed individuals, include members who are reactionary. I also do think writing and reading are inherently political activities, especially when an author expresses political views. So this person is saying, if you want your place to be a refuge from politics, stop reading. Because it's a refuge for people. Like, what? So anyway, he goes on to talk about Thomas Monteleone getting a title published by Centipede Press. He's a little upset about it, and he wants to know what everybody thinks. And it's fine. He does do a thoughtful post that talks about the incident, the whole thing, and why some things are problematic. But then he uses this as a preamble to a discussion of the relationship between an author and their work. So it's his entree into, Centipede Press is publishing a problematic author, and I am going to segue into all the problematic authors that I think need to be canceled and why I'm right and they don't need to eat. And so he gets into this whole analysis and he starts talking about, for example, Marge Piercy and J.K. Rowling. If you don't know, J.K. Rowling is somebody who refuses to bend the knee and say that trans women are women. So she's saying women are women and it's dangerous sport to let men into women's sports. So that's her position. I'm reiterating it for you, not making a judgment here, just sharing why J.K. Rowling was canceled. And they called her a TERF, which is a trans-exclusive radical feminist. Basically, it's a woman who's trying to protect women's spaces from this threat that she perceives. So everybody who loved Harry Potter, and the funny thing is, this Sean Griffith loved Harry Potter. Then he found out he didn't like J.K. Rowling. And then he looked back at Harry Potter as subpar fiction fantasy. It's funny how that changed his opinion of a book that he used to like. So, and I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. You could make up your own mind. I'm not going to tell you what to think. Like, that's the thing I hate. We got into a place where everybody's telling everybody what to think. So just think what you want. But I've never been in danger of being a J.K. Rowling fan. So I was never threatened with the Harry Potter virus. I stayed away. Movies, books, knew it wasn't for me. I did see a little bit of the movie because some things are inescapable. And I'm like, nope. So anyway, and then he goes into Edgar Allan Poe and H.P. Lovecraft, who are completely dead. These two guys are completely dead. They may have had some abhorrent views. I don't know. I'm not a historian. I didn't look back. Honestly, I've never read an H.P. Lovecraft piece. I think Poe is a tremendous talent. But this led to a whole discussion. Everybody was sounding off. And then Orson Scott Card and Thomas Monteleone, he closes it out. Orson Scott Card has a very problematic position on homosexuality. And dude's got issues, like issues. And it's a very weird... I've, again, never read Orson Scott Card. I'm not losing any sleep over it. Like, there are some authors that if I read abhorrent views from these people, I would be so conflicted. Like I don't know. Like, let's just say Josh Mallerman was assaulted a woman, you know, like, or did some horrible things or had racist views. God, it would kill me. I'm already bracing myself for Stephen King. Like, there are rumors about that guy. Like, I adore these authors, and it would break my heart to think that I can't like these people personally. And I would really do mental gymnastics to separate the person from the work. I would do that. I don't want to do that. I want to like these people. I want to like my authors. So Orson Scott Card, I'm not sure. I think he's a Mormon. And I think his views are reflected in Mormon culture. I don't know. If Hans was here, he'd correct me. But this whole thing is interesting. And I couldn't help but write a post in response. And so I was writing about this time. I was in a creative writing class. And I did a background search of the author, and it turns out he was a communist. So when I was doing a presentation on him, I'm like, hey, this author wrote this piece, and I really wasn't getting it when I was reading the piece. And then when I looked into his history, I'm like, he's a communist. Okay, now some of his points are making sense. I could see what he's driving to here. And my professor and the rest of the class were just shocked. They gasped. They're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Him being a communist has nothing to do with what he wrote. They were like, seriously, pump the brakes, dude. Stop talking right now. I'm like, we're a classroom of 25 people. What is the emergency? I'm not talking into a live mic. This isn't getting broadcast anywhere. I'm not going to be getting sued. But they were all horrified. Whoa, whoa, cut it, cut it, cut it. And then the professor, who I was really good friends with, said, yeah, dude, that's bad manners. You don't do this. You talk about the work. You don't talk about the author. Huh. Now, why? And that was just 2005. I went to college as like a 30-something-year-old guy. Why is it now that we need to investigate every tweet and every thought that an author has had? And if they have any view that anybody could find objection with, they have to be tarred and feathered. Why? I thought we weren't supposed to look at that. And I'm still the same person I was back then. I do look at what an author believes and what they write, because I think I want to know what position. And I don't have to agree with the author, but I want to understand the author. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm reading the book, I can understand it from my point of view. But if, let's just say, like, if there's a black author and I read their work, and I can appreciate it as a perspective that I will never have. Like, this is how this individual from their demographic background experiences or tries to tell a story and communicate an experience. And so I will get an appreciation for it based on that. And I could see the value in separating the author from the art. I could totally see that. That's fine. But this whole thing, man, where everybody is trying to do this stuff is like, I agree with Hans earlier. Like, let's not vilify nobody's going to be able to make a move anymore. I'm amazed anybody posts on X anymore, because seriously, any opinion you have now could be vile in 10 years. Well, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? JK will be just fine with her billions. Yes, she will. Let me see. Jason, I have not started. Okay, you're talking amongst yourselves. I'll respect your privacy. I keep waiting for you to read it so we can discuss. My opinion on Dolly is just mine. It's not my style. It's number one, Jill. Let me stir up a hornet's nest. If you don't want to get stung, run away. I know. Personal opinion on Dolly. He was a better pop culture icon and feeder of the zeitgeist than artist. It's a valid point. Art appreciation is absolutely subjective. No one's opinion matters over my own. I like J.K.R.'s Robert Galbraith novels quite a bit, although they are a bit wordy. Yeah, that's her pseudonym. Yeah. Jeff, seriously, no HPL ever? What the hell is wrong with you, bro? I don't know. Maybe I'm not a racist. You see how that works out? My avoiding H.P. Lovecraft has paid dividends. I do like H.P. Lovecraft inspired fiction. Like, that cosmic horror stuff is so badass. So I should read H.P. Lovecraft. That is true. You did? Producer Jill has read him. So I have a book of his somewhere. I'll read it. I have to. I wonder if his issues with reading works written by people with problematic views keeps him from reading the Constitution of the United States. Yeah, see, there are things that are very problematic in just general human history. And the hope is that we don't ignore them so we can repeat them, but learn from them and understand where we were at a certain time and how much better things are than they were. But nobody can ever appreciate that. That's what blows my mind. Why can't we appreciate how far everything has come? In many, many ways for the better. I'll stop there because there are things I would offer that perhaps I should not. Social media will be the end of mankind. I know. No, the Mormons disown Orson Scott Card. Okay. Source. Am in Utah. Oh, he's on the extreme side with his bigotry. And see, that's the thing. There are problematic parts of Christianity. I mean, like any organized religion, any group you have of people that have done the herd management, you're going to get some awful things because they're run by people who are fallible, who create horrible conditions. And it's all in the hopes to control people. And I resist that. I hate this control. I hate control over me and my decisions in my life. Let's see. What am I missing? I agree with Jeff on this. Read and make up your own mind. But if someone does something horrible, vote with your wallet if you want to continue. If you want to continue reading their stuff, yes, vote with your wallet. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I said this in my post. I'm like, that's what most people do. They just move along. Like, oh, jeez. Like, if I found out that some person's like, I hate white men. I'm not writing my books for white men. I'm not making movies for white men. I will honor that person's position and avoid the shit out of them. Why that person would hate me when I never did anything to them, or they don't know what I believe and how I feel, that's a them problem. But thank you for letting me know. That's the other thing. I want to know what people think. Let me know what you think. So if you are an abhorrent person, I will avoid you. Oh, you mean like all the right wingers getting in their panties in a bunch because King isn't on their team? Exactly. If you don't like King and you're like, okay, I don't like his views, then don't buy his books and don't read them. It's as simple as that. You don't have to take out an ad in Times Square and declare it with a megaphone. Rah, rah. Just don't. Just don't. That's what you do. And that's valid. If somebody is objectionable to you, just don't do it. The freedom of association is awesome. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm not sure I need to know an author's personal views on a subject area, but I do know enough not to assume that the views expressed in their work that is true. Like, I don't need to. Right. You're right, Peter. I don't need to research every author I read. And in fact, I've learned a long time ago I don't want to. Because if you do discover things that you don't like, then it's like it taints it. But if I want a deeper understanding of what is the point of a book or what motivates that author, then yeah, I got to know what they're about. So I don't mind it either way. I don't seek it out, but I also don't avoid it. And I think it's totally fair game to associate an author's views with their work. And like, yes, there can be an author who does a thought experiment. Like, this ain't my view, but like, for example, Joyce Carol Oates, she's not a serial killer that I know of, but she wrote Zombie. It's a thought experiment. Can you put yourself in the mind of one of the most sick and twisted people and try to see the world as they do, where they justify their actions or their, that's fair. It doesn't mean the author is a serial killer, but you know what I'm saying. Jeff, don't call it X. Twitter. I don't know. I just feel stupid. Like, then don't change the name. It's like they keep putting it up there. X, formerly known as Twitter. How long is that going to go on? I didn't like it when it was Twitter. I don't like it when it's X. I did try it. I do have an account. You can find me there. But I don't like it. Centipede has published several of those authors mentioned. Lovecraft, Poe, Card, and Monteleone. I wonder why the hubbub over the latter only. There's hubbub over all of them. But when was the last time they published Card? Because the Orson Scott Card stuff, I think it's not super recent. But yeah, I don't know. I don't read them. So again, no skin in the game. Just please, for the love of God, I don't want any skeletons in the closets of Philip Fracassi, Josh Malerman, Chad Lutsky, Tyler Jones, Thomas Oldehuvelt, Joe Lansdale. Like, please, nothing. Stephen King. I don't want anything horrific coming out about these people. Feels like someone wanting to find an issue than actually perceiving one. I know. Yeah, Ron, maybe because he's the most current. Yes. And there is this crescendo building of people. They're addicted to outrage, and they've exhausted H.P. Lovecraft and Poe. They've wrung all the juice out of those lemons they can get. And now they got to find the new evil, because you don't exist without. That's just what I wrote in my newsletter. This last newsletter was just people that live in the negative. They live in the absence of their enemy. Like, what is my enemy doing and what am I doing? And compared to that, like, I'm living in constant resistance to this force that I've invested all my power, and I've surrendered all my autonomy and agency and power to this entity that is tormenting me and won't stop tormenting me because it's everywhere. It's pervasive. Can you defeat racism? Can you? No, you can't. Can you defeat bad people? No. Bad people will always exist. Even if you created a meter that scanned people for goodness, God knows who would be programming the software to detect that. I guarantee you're still going to get bad people because there are people who pay for the thing to subvert the scanner to get away with it. So the rich people will get away with it. But even if you scanned all the people, new bad people would be born. You're never getting rid of bad. So stop giving all of your power to it. Never wise to meet your heroes. I just want to read good books, regardless of where the writer lives or dines or went to school or anything else. Yes. Yeah. I like what Voltaire said. I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. And that is what I used to think was the most sacred thing about this country. And interestingly, here we go. Not that I blame the Centipede Press moderators, but this post here, it doesn't say it here, but comments were turned off for this post. Nobody else can comment. I must have gotten my comment in right at the buzzer because I was wondering how come nobody's commenting on my post, and it's because they turned it off. So apparently, and this was, I gotta admit, a very reasoned discussion. Like, people were making some solid points on both sides, and they weren't resorting to name calling, and it was good. It was good. I just roll my eyes at the people addicted outrage, but let's hear it. Let's hear it. Does this make you happy? I want to say to this Sean guy, does this make you happy? Are you happy? Are you a satisfied person? Do you think it's up to you to be on this crusade? Is this satisfying? What do you get at the end of the day when you've been like, I've been out screaming at all the evil in the world, pointing my finger, calling it out. I am a good white guy. If he's a white guy, I don't know. If he's a guy, I don't know. I don't know anything about Sean Griffith. So does it, like, how do you feel at the end? Are you are you mentally healthy? I don't know. I shouldn't be the one asking that. Of course PJ has read him. Why isn't she the one with the channel? Yeah, Jill. What? Jill, maybe you should be the one with the channel reading all that H.P. Lovecraft and shit. Oh man, see, you guys are saying so many great things and I'm skipping over it. Voltaire typo on my part. You just described the U.S. today. Too many people just want to find something to fight about. Exactly. I've read some Orson Scott Card, really good military sci-fi. It doesn't sound like I would agree with him on his life matters, but I'm not going to rush out and get rid of his books at this point. And you know, the thing that I experience, like, I would just be sad. I would be like, oh, disappointed. Because here's the thing, when you read an author, when you read a book, it is, I think, the most human connection you can have to another person is to read their thoughts. And inevitably, inescapably, an author leaves their brain print on the page. You get a sense of who they are, or at least you think you do. It could be misleading. I'm not a forensic scientist book reader, but you hope you got like, oh, this person has some really insightful things to say about what it is to be human and this perspective and their mastery of the language and the way they communicate. They have to be empathetic. They have to have compassion. They have to be able to feel a story from multiple angles in order to convince me of the story's truth. And then you find out they're a dumpster fire of a human. That's got to break your heart because you connected with them. It could feel like a betrayal, like, dude, you couldn't be more wrong. Or why are you so hateful? Like, you really think this about other people? Like, seriously? And it's sort of like a shock. It can be. And so it does cool you on it. You could just be like, all right. You're now outing yourself for this agenda, and I can't enjoy it the same way I used to. Because even then, like, even if you do try to separate, like, okay, I don't agree with this author, but I'm going to read the work. Now, every time you come across something that feels like the author takes a different view than you or is championing an idea that you find uncomfortable. Whether or not it fits the story or the character or has a place in there, you're going to think, oh, God, here he is spoon feeding me his bullshit. And then what? And then you're out of the story. So it sucks. It does. And I think it's a dangerous game to play when we start to go through this cancel culture bullshit. And I will say, from my point of view, when I wrote that piece in that nonfiction creative writing class, it was a nonfiction piece. So the author was writing a nonfiction piece. So when I looked up the author, I wanted to know, what was this author really trying to convey? Because it's not fiction. It's not a story that could be a parable for something, but you take it on its own merits. It is a piece of nonfiction that is conveying a point of view. They're trying to sell you on an idea. So who's the salesman? That was my whole my whole goal for that was that. So art is subjective, but you must admit Francois Vaillancourt is talented. He's amazing. Patty, I enjoyed Ender's Game, but never felt the desire to read another Orson Scott Card book. I know. And it's so backwards. And here's the thing. Like, Orson Scott Card is homophobic in the way that high school bullies are homophobic. You know, it's like an immature, maybe you're fighting your own desires kind of way, and you're taking it out on other people. Like, you're repressing yourself, and you just can't admit that maybe you aren't as heterosexual as you think you are, and you're now externalizing because you can't comprehend how that fits into your worldview. I don't know, but that's what struck me when the little bit I read about Orson Scott Card. So he seems pretty twisted. Much like actors, I don't care about authors' opinions either. After all, opinions are alike. Assholes. So with actors, I think it's worse to know their opinions. It is worse. So, for example, I'll just take Tom Cruise, for example. When you know about his life and his real life, then the characters he plays, it can knock you out of it. Like, I think the less you know about any actor, the better. I don't want to know that when Tom Cruise is like kissing another woman on screen, that I'm like, oh, what must Nicole Kidman, back when they were married, what must she think about that? That's not his wife. And it just like, no, this is the character and that's a character and we're supposed to pretend that they are married or whatever it is. You don't want to know, because then it just feels like, then it self-references this idea that this is not real life, this is acting. So, I still buy and read Orson Scott Card's work, even though I disagree vehemently in some cases with his personal views. I personally don't see paying him for his work as supporting his views. Oh, that's interesting. I get that, Peter. And the thing is, like, if you enjoy something and you find value in that, then you're getting your value out of buying that work. And it all depends. I guess it does all depend on how bad the person is. I mean, from what I read, I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, this guy's got, what I read about Orson Scott Card was like, these are personal issues he's working out for himself, and he's taking it out on others. That's how I interpreted what I read. And so, hateful is different. Like, here's the other thing. I don't care who you are or what you think. I care about what you do. So, you could be the most vehement racist in the world, awful human being when it comes to judging others. But if you've never hurt another person and you've never caused a crime or did harm to another person, inadvertently or vertently, if you've always been a good human, that's to me what I will judge you by, not what you think. I don't know why somebody would hold views like that, but it's what you do that counts. It's like how you behave. And thought police bullshit, First Amendment censorship bullshit is, I got no stomach for that. I have no tolerance for that. When I was a wee Steven, I used to enjoy my hometown author Dan Simmons. Later found out he was a tool, so I stopped buying his stuff. I was okay, well, not okay, but willing to turn a blind eye to his views until they started showing up in his work, sledgehammer style. See, that's the problem. If you can't find value in the work anymore, that's sad. It's X, not Twitter, and it's still BS. I agree. You can find something you don't like about everyone. Who gives a shit? We are all human and different. We can all believe and have different views and be able to get along. Screw it. Yes, we are a dysfunctional American family, and it doesn't mean any of us disown any of the other ones unless you're a vile human. Vile. I mean, you have to be vile. You can't just be, again, you have to do horrible things. They want a living author to pick on because the dead ones won't fight back. Yep. Let's see. Nicole Kidman was 2 wives ago. I know. It hurts Jeff to know that Deborah Ann Wool is a saint in real life. She could be a saint. She's a horrible actor. And I will say actor because apparently it's misogynist to say actress now. So I say actor. You don't say actress anymore. And Deborah Ann Wool could be a phenomenal human being. She's a D&D fan, so there's points there. But man, she can't act for shit. I need more Coke in my rum. You know what? Here we go. Taking on that full bottle challenge. Boom. A little more. You saw that live. There's no going back. There's no taking that out. Same with musicians. I think musicians, though, I give a little bit more of a pass to. I mean, their songs, if their songs are preachy, yeah, screw it. I don't want it. Well, how about this? I love Anthrax. I love Scott Ian. But he did a song called Bring the Noise. It's a Public Enemy song. They did a cover of it. Scott Ian is Jewish. And he rapped a line called Farrakhan is a prophet and I think you ought to listen to. Because that's Chuck D's lyric that's in Public Enemy. Farrakhan wants to exterminate Jews. I don't know how Scott Ian could have performed that song. That makes no sense to me. I don't understand. That does not. These two things don't line up. Like, I would have said, Chuck D, I love this song. I will do a cover of it. I cannot promote Louis Farrakhan in this song. And of course, that would have been a deal breaker. Why would you even approach Chuck D with that? Pick a different Public Enemy song. Public Enemy was supposed to be all about justice and equity and all that stuff. And very, like the resistance against white oppression. And for that, sure. But when you say Farrakhan is a prophet and I think you ought to listen to him and he wants to wipe out the Jews, okay. No, that's objectively wrong. So musicians, though, they feel their art in song form, and I think there's a lot of, it's like poets. It is more emotive, and I think there's more room for opinion in that realm. I don't know. I'm just riffing now. It's too much rum. Don't say actress. Okay, yeah. They put that on the list. Put that on the long list of things you can't do. I'm currently reading Live Girls by Ray Garton. Very spicy. I'll read it. Maybe we'll make it a book club book. But who gives two shits for my opinion on things? I do. These people are given podiums to stand on because of their careers, and that's it. They're no better, and hopefully not worse than any other person. For instance, I might be one of the best in my field. Right. But no one gives two shits for my opinion on things. Exactly, Stephen. Like, I think that goes to celebrity worship. That's why there was somebody who came out and was like a musician's like, hey, look, I just write songs. Like, don't look to me. Like, I remember when Charles Barkley said that. I'm not a role model. I play basketball. I am not a role model. Like, you should not take your cues from what I think. And I had total tremendous respect for that. It's how many beers we can drink. I agree, Jeff. I don't like Brad Pitt from what I know about him as a person, but he's a fantastic actor. Yes. And I don't want to know about him. I just want to know about his characters. I want to know about his art. I don't want to know what he believes. I don't care. Mano said something that Patty's agreeing with. Shirley Jackson is on the list now. Her family was well off and employed people of color in domestic roles. She had a maid and a nanny, and she's an example of privilege and is removed from reading lists. You know, I think that's interesting. So, and again, her family simply being wealthy makes her a target, even if they paid their employees fairly. These are all things that get steamrolled, and we lose the nuance, and everybody just likes a soundbite. So they stop there, and then they're quick to hang people. Yeah, all this cancel culture is a cancer on society and progress, for sure. Yes, I have a friend who is a teacher. I don't know how well she paid, but just having domestic in a subservient role, it gets you canceled. No pass to Roger Waters, kook. Cancel culture, more like culture club. Jesse's got the awesome riffs tonight. Don't we all technically have people in subservient roles? I mean, I pay people to do stuff for me every day. The students took the painting of Shakespeare down in the English department. I do not understand it either. It's a problem. I mean, you know what happens when we do this? I have Manos, that's just dumb. What a counterintuitive thing to do. I know. Karma Chameleon. Didn't Shakespeare steal all that work anyway? Yes, from Ben Jonson. From Ben Jonson, that poor guy. Ben Jonson. What do we have to talk about still? I did not plan on really... Well, I obviously did. But, you know, there are things that I pull up and I'm like, hey, I'm going to talk about this guy who got all bent out of shape about Thomas Monteleone. Even though I agree with him and I don't like Thomas Monteleone, I think the grandstanding and the virtue signaling makes me want to puke. It's just so, like, oh, it's so obnoxious. It really is. Jake Paul or Mike Tyson, when are they fighting? Mike Tyson's going to beat the living piss out of Jake Paul. He is going to beat the living hell out of that social media influencer wannabe. Beat him. Maybe to death. I hope not. I'm not rooting for anyone's death. It's going to be rigged. So you think Tyson's going to throw it? Here's how I think it could be rigged. Tyson doesn't beat him to death because it gets called. But Jake Paul can't win. I mean, like that Toby Keith song. I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. And Mike Tyson's going to be good that night. And Jake Paul better just run for the hills. In late July, and I sure hope so. I hope he takes Jake's ear, bites it off like Evander Holyfield. Jake Paul will lose an eye to Mike. It's going to be awful. I never thought we'd talk about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. So we talked about the store. We talked about Centipede Press. We talked about my Patreon. I did the last newsletter last week. Everything's moving over to Patreon. If you're already there on any level, you don't need to join. But if you want to get my newsletter, then you can join up to the Patreon. There is a free tier where we'll get you the newsletter. But you could also support the channel at $5 a month, or 10, or 25, whatever you'd like to do. This is a commercial. And we talked about SST. Throw the damn towel. It's funny seeing Paul's fans saying Tyson's a has-been. They have no idea. Mike Tyson is like, oh my God. I mean, that guy had problems. I heard one thing about him. He's like, his son showed some like talent in the ring. I think. Here's what I did hear. Tyson didn't want his son to go into boxing because he's like, you don't want to go into there because you're going to go up against guys like me who, like, where Tyson was coming from was a place of rage. And he's like, I was an animal. I was in there to hurt people. Like he was just like, and he was amazing. He didn't just have the anger and the rage, but he could focus it. He could direct it and he could harness it. And he had the skill and the ability. The guy was just tremendous. And he wanted to protect his son from that. I thought that was noble. I think that's any parent is feeling like that. I want my son to have a better life than I had. And to not have these demons and not to go into a space with demons. And so I'm like that, man. It gave me a little more respect for him as a person. But his talent, and Jake Paul, he's a baby. He didn't see Mike Tyson in his heyday. And you got to say, like, that stuff didn't go anywhere. It might have gotten slower. His stamina is probably less. But my God, if he connects with just one of his, you're a stupid clout chaser, Jake Paul. Stupid. Good night, Eye of Manos. Good to see you. I'm glad you were here. Finally, I was waiting for the perks. Was this Jake Paul even alive? No. It's 7 2-minute rounds. 16-ounce gloves. It could be interesting. Paul is an okay 28-year-old fighter. Tyson will be 58, but in good shape. If Tyson still has any of the speed he had, he'll destroy him. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't even need to have all the speed he had. He doesn't have to be at the top of his game. But he's still a force. The power and the skill. There's nothing Paul can bring into the ring that Tyson hasn't seen and beaten 100 times before. Experience counts. Amen, man. Okay, good night, Jay Stones. Good to see you. Then he bent over and kissed his tiger. Good night, fellow readers. Bed calling my name. Catch you next time. Take it easy. Oh my God, I'm so pumped for the Tyson-Paul fight. I will love to see the 30-second reel of the entirety of the fight. It'll be fun to watch. And that's usually how Tyson fights, how long they lasted. Later, everyone. I'm going to go to bed. Hans, if you're watching on the replay, I hope you join me next week. I was expressing an opinion about art, as were you. My opinions are mine. Yours are yours. And congratulations on the grant and all your achievements, never diminishing from your achievements. We miss you, Hans. That's how long. Oh, Jesse. You had to get all salty there at the end. Where have you been, Mitchell? I am docking your pay. He's been here, but he's been mom. He's burping the baby. See you online next week. I will see you next week. Until then, you just got to stay the Frosties and don't cancel anyone. And then don't read anything you find objectionable. These are very simple rules. See you, everyone. Thanks for a great stream, Jeff and producer Jill. Good night to all. Take it easy. Stay frosty and stay golden.